Honourable Courtenay-Alberni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it's a privilege and honor today to rise and speak to the bill. Madam Speaker, as you know, we're dealing with really four crises right now. We've got a climate crisis, we've got a opioid crisis, a homeless crisis, and of course now we have the COVID pandemic, which we've been all battling together for over a year now. And many people have been living daily with anxiety of losing their jobs, worried about their health and the health of their loved ones. In the meantime, we've seen the wealthiest of Canadians grow their wealth, Canada's largest corporations benefiting from this pandemic. And we've got a Liberal government that's been resistant to having them pay their fair share and contribute to the cost of the pandemic, which we know is going to fall on the backs of everyday middle-class Canadians and the most vulnerable, as we see probably services cut in future years because the government's lack of courage to make those that should pay for the pandemic contribute more. And on the other side, we've got the Conservatives that are using delay tactics to get support to Canadians. This budget is clearly, there's very important pandemic supports that small businesses need. And as a critic for the federal NDP for small business and tourism, I know all too well, talking to entrepreneurs, how important it is that they continue to get supports for the wage subsidy, for the commercial emergency rent assistance program. And while we were glad to see the government extend those programs through the summer, the cuts to those programs as they slowly, gradually phase them out is going to impact those businesses. And especially in the tourism industry, Madam Speaker, we know that many businesses that rely on international tourism won't see any international guests likely this season. And any that planned on coming to Canada have canceled their bookings. So they've been asking for the wage subsidy and the rent program, programs that are a lifeline to them, programs that the NDP, as you may recall, fought to get them increased. The wage subsidy was initially going to be 10%, Madam Speaker, and we pushed so the government would increase it to 75%. The commercial rent program, a program that the government, took our idea, but of course they rolled out a flawed program that was landlord driven and forgot about the tenants. These programs, now that we've kicked and screamed to get them fixed, get the wage subsidy up to 75%, get the rent program so that it's tenant driven. Madam Speaker, these benefits are absolutely essential to those tourism and small businesses. They're going to have to go through a fall and into next spring. And we've heard from the Tourism Industry Association of Canada, both at committee and other tourism industry organizations like the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, saying that they need those programs to go to the spring. And while I'm mentioning the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, they've seen a cut, Madam Speaker, of 83% to their core budget at a time when we need them the most. They delivered over $15 million, Madam Speaker, in loans to Indigenous-led businesses because they have that intimate relationship with those businesses, their members. They saved those businesses. And that's, over 40,000 employees, over 1,900 Indigenous businesses that are going to be the most vulnerable businesses as we come out of the pandemic. I'm encouraging the government to come back and try to save these businesses. Time is running out, Madam Speaker. They need help. Also, in terms of the Canada Emergency Business Account loan, we were glad to see them finally fix the last increase during the second wave of the CEBA loan. But businesses are saying it's not enough. They've gone through a third wave. They need more funds. They need help and liquidity to get through the summer, Madam Speaker, and beyond. And the repayable timeline of next fiscal year is absolutely impossible, Madam Speaker, for almost any small business to meet, for them to get the rebate of the 1/3 of that CEBA loan. We're asking the government to extend the terms of that repayment at least to 2025, the end of 2025, Madam Speaker, so that these businesses have a fighting chance to get back on their feet. The other thing that the government keeps talking about is credit card merchant fees. We know that they're in bed with the big banks, Mr. Speaker. I see you've taken the chair. But the reality is that, their small businesses are being grinded constantly by the banks. We just saw the banks increase their fees to consumers and to small businesses again during a time where they're having record profits, Mr. Speaker. This is completely unacceptable to Canadians. And at the same time, In Europe, when it comes to merchant fees, interchange fees, they're paying 0.3%. Right now in Canada, it's 1.4% is the voluntary rate that the credit card companies are saying that they're paying. And, I've met with Visa and Mastercard. They're saying that it's actually not their issue, that it's the big banks that are the ones that set the rate on the interchange fees. So again, Mr. Speaker, we've seen the big banks having record profits. Why are they stepping to the plate and providing some relief to small businesses and consumers? Because we know that merchant fees are often, put on the backs and shoulders of small businesses.